Welcome back. You're watching us here on Consumption Corner. We're discussing trends in the D2C space. Pallab Roy and Gurmit Singh, along with Varun Sadana and Vikas T. Nahar, are with us. Pallab, just wanted to understand your thoughts on the way legacy brands are now approaching this. Because at the start of the pandemic, of course, the D2C brands were much ahead in the online game, so they adapted much faster. But now that legacy brands have also caught on with these trends, and at the same time, this interspersed with a funding winter for all these new players. So, it's sort of this intersection where legacy brands have found their footing and the others are struggling right now because of lack of funds or maybe lack of sustained growth as one saw during the pandemic. Where does this battle stand at right now, and what, according to you, is the future?
So, I think that if you see the legacy brands, as you rightly said, they've not stood still. If you see within the Quora report, the Quora KPMG report that we published, you will see that there is a lot of curiosity, recommendation, and engagement around products, services, and brands. So when the legacy brands notice that, they know that there is a set of online consumer that they can go after, and they've started to build up their entire online business. And this is being done in different ways. On one side, you will see that they've started to create their own D2C capabilities, their own e-commerce and marketplace capabilities. And very nicely, they've started to leapfrog some of the entire distribution value chain and reach as much as possible and digitize as much as possible to the last leg, which is the consumer. So that's happening on one side. On the other side, you would have noticed that most large legacy brands would have acquired some of the new age or D2C brands or some of the new age brands. So that also has added to their capability. And the third is a lot of them are looking at the startup ecosystem and looking at specific challenges that they have in terms of leapfrogging the distribution, reaching the consumer, creating a personalized experience, literally bulk breaking in terms of understanding and personalizing at a consumer level rather than broad basing it at a region area level. Those are the aspects that they're working on as well. So three very, very specific initiatives where they're working on. I think coming back to your original question, where we stand and what will really happen. If I just look at the trends, and I mentioned that consumer commerce is now here to stay. And if you look at consumer commerce, what that would necessitate for any organization, whether they are a new age D2C brand or they are a legacy brand, is to be able to operate in an omni-channel format. And that is where I think things will keep moving towards. More personalization, looking at data and information at the consumer cut level will keep on improving. And that is where you will see that this will actually fructify. For new age companies, of course, it will mean thinking about managing their cost better, thinking about innovating at speed, sustaining quality, and finally also setting up on their offline.
All right, and that question to Varun as well. Varun, we had Nestle incorporate Purina into their own business now. A lot of large players are coming around and seeing the potential that we're seeing in pet care. At the same time, for a lot of the platforms who were specialized in pet care are now facing the heat from acceptability of pet care products in general and modern trade stores as well. How do you compete with that?
I think this is largely a phase, Mangalam. Pet care is very, very nascent in the country. We are talking about largely the first wave of, petification of the country where, during COVID, a lot of people kept pets. So these were people who always wanted to keep pets, but kind of, fastened their purchase because of COVID. The next phase, which has already started, is because people, there are a lot of people who wanted to keep pets but needed a reason, and the reason they got was from everybody else, right? Because a lot of other people started keeping pets. So this will go on for the next 2 to 3 years. Then there will be the last phase where people who like pets but were not keeping pets largely because who'll manage, right? They're waiting for the ecosystem to get built. Right. So now, while a lot of, all these brands, large brands are looking at this as a decently long-term opportunity, right? They're not looking at this in, solving this for the next 1 or 2 years. Mars is investing a lot into the country. Nestle has come with Purina, and they're also investing a lot into the country because all of them believe it's not like a 1 or 2 year game. It's going to be a decade or 2 decade game, and we've seen that in case of China and Brazil, where the pet care economy kind of increased almost 15 to 20x from 2010 to 2020. Very similar stuff should happen in the country, and everybody wants to bank on that as large brands.
Right. A similar question to you, Vikas. As first movers, you all do get the advantage of being the first brand. But at the same time, at the end of the day, what is being sold is a commodity. It is almonds, it is cashews, it is dry fruit. Basically, no two brands could differ in the core taste of the product. Tatas have looked at this space and they are now entering GT. You have a lot of the other large legacy players too looking at this space. How do you compete with their distribution reach? How do you compete with their ability to source at lower costs and sell to a much larger audience? And once that happens, how do you specialize your product so that customer loyalty remains?
No, see, if you the category itself, I always believe food for that matter might be any food, might be a batter, might be water, might be pet food or anything. Food can always be created. It is the brand perception how you create with the consumer is what matters, and how you can consistently deliver the promise on. If you talk about the product, our products are highly differentiated in terms of the way we roast them, right? If you see a lot of products available in the market are fried or with oil, our products actually come with the promise with added pink salt and with a lot of goodness. And we have invested a lot in terms of our capacities and our infrastructure. The entire roasting, entire process happens untouched by hand, and one of the highest in terms of hygiene, in terms of process, in terms of systems what we have set up. And we also imported a lot of processing lines from US and other European countries where the roasting and the flavoring technology is very, very superficial. It's highly superior in what's available in the market. So I always believe that in terms of product, we should always differentiate and try to create new products. We've invested highly in the R&D as well. If you see the products what we have launched recently is like a dry fruit burfi, a dry fruit bar, an almond brittle, and a pistachio bar and things like that. So we have actually gone the extent. In fact, we recently launched something called as a Kaju Katli spread, which actually won Sial Paris Innovation Award, which actually what Nutella did with hazelnut, we actually tried to do with cashews.
Okay, that's interesting.
Not about selling almond cashews, it's about selling innovative products which can be conveniently carried across, can be consumed at multiple a.m. breakfast, 11 a.m. hunger break, or a 4 p.m. tea break, or even 8 p.m. with your friends. So we want to cover all aspects of life, but want to eat them in a healthier choice. We don't want to go with the potato chips or something like that. We want to give them healthier options, which can be based on dry fruits.
All right, you are now making my appetite, a little. You're whetting my appetite with the kind of products that you're talking about. I'll hold you on to this, but that will be off air. Final round of questions to all of you. Gurmeet, what other metrics do you think brands should be using to improve their performance a little more?
So I think the most important thing, a lot of because of the funding winter which you talked about, and also there is a lot of stress on profitability. There is some amount of funding crunch which is there. Therefore, a lot of brands tend to kind of go organic and they want to put out content and kind of get consumers through that. That's not helping kind of achieve scale. So my suggestion to all the brands is that you need to have content which you need to kind of distribute better. Because D2C gives you, like we saw, an amazing ability to kind of, custom make products, to launch innovative products. And also it is very, very important to, reach out to audiences on a larger scale so that this entire business can get a second fillip now. So that's my suggestion to all the brands who are listening.
All right. And we have a couple of brands listening here as well. Varun, what kind of metrics do you think you use, which no other company uses, and that's held you in good stead?
Actually, to be very honest, I think there is only one metric that is the most important, and that is repeat, right? And this, at least when we think about pet care as a category, it's largely about how do you get the customer back, right? All our metrics actually, so that is the playbook, right? And I don't think we use any fancy created metrics. We kind of very of some of these metrics which kind of keep coming and going, we have to go back to the fundamentals. And Gurmeet also mentioned EBITDA is important, and one of the a very good founder actually wrote on Twitter, all CEOs today are chief EBITDA officers. So yeah, so I think at the end of the day, I don't think we need to create metrics. I think we need to follow the metrics which are already there and just follow it well. That's the game.
Right. The other one which goes is that sales are vanity, profit is sanity, and cash flow is reality. Vikas, metrics that you use?
We believe in a lot of providing convenience to the customer and personalizing the experience.
Okay.
Because whenever customer comes to your website, the most important, as Saddam was saying, that the retention and the repeat is most important. And how do you make it happen? You have to touch the customer in multiple phases of life. It might be on your own D2C website. We have actually launched our own retail stores, the own EBOs across 3-4 tier 1 cities in India. So what we want to do is we want to give that same experience when a customer comes to an offline store or comes to a website, and we know what are the customer choices. So how can we actually cross-sell him with new products? How can we engage into sampling? We know his customer preferences. We understand the consumption pattern over a period of time, and we know, is he buying once in 15 days, once in 30 days? How can we actually do it better? How can we make it more convenient for him? How can you introduce subscriptions where he doesn't have to actually come to the website or buy or come to the store? How can you provide more convenience, and how can you make it a more personalized environment for him? So that end of the day, customer is not only coming for a product, he's coming for the entire gamut of the experience the brand which provides. So I firmly believe own website gives you that platform to do sampling, to understand the consumer better, to get a lot of data, because as the KPMG report also says, the consumption of data has increased a lot.
All right. Thanks a lot, gentlemen, for joining in for this insightful discussion. We wrap up on this edition of Consumption Corner, and thank you so much for watching.